What's up, Tech Feed? Welcome back to another episode of TechnoBuffalo's Driven. I'm your host, John Rettinger. We've got a very special guest with me. What we've got here is a car that's made quite a trip all the way from Europe. We've got a 2013 European-spec Ford Fiesta. So what we got here is never coming to the US, but what's living under the hood is in the 2014 Ford Fiesta. So let me ask you a question. What do this and this have in common? 1 liter. This car has a 1 liter 3-cylinder EcoBoost engine, which is kind of an odd combination. A lot of car companies have tried a 3-cylinder engine in the past with mixed results. Actually, the current Smart car uses the same 1 liter 3-cylinder setup that Ford is trying to do right here. So let's go ahead and drive it, put it through its paces, and see if this car should be what you pick up in 2014 when it hits US shores. So under the hood is an engine that looks like it might be more at home in a motorcycle than in a car that's going to hit the freeways. So in traditional engines that have 4 cylinders, 6 cylinders, or 8, the pistons, when they move up and down in those cylinders, traditionally move in pairs. And when they move in pairs, what it's going to do is going to decrease vibrations. But when you have an odd number of cylinders like we have with 3, usually they are ridiculously loud. So Ford claims to have addressed that vibration through a really interesting proprietary system. First, how the engine is mounted in the car. They've really gone through great lengths to make sure that parts aren't touching, and there's a very interesting balance of how the parts are hung and where the engine actually lays inside of the bay here. All right, so this Euro-spec Fiesta gives us a ton of design cues of what we might get and a lot of things that are never going to see US shores. So let's start with really the new hallmark of all Ford cars moving forward, this brand new Aston Martin-esque grille. Really a beautiful car. We saw it on the 2013 Ford Fusion, and it's really Ford's design language moving forward. It's really bold and really distinguishable as Ford, maybe in the right light, Aston Martin. So moving around here, we've got the 5-door hatchback. It's a very traditional design that we've seen on Fiestas in the past. Not sure if we're going to see the hatch or a 4-door design, or perhaps both, make it to US shores. The lines here are pretty smooth. I do like that they added a window front here in the A-pillar for improved visibility. Continuing back, we got a really pronounced B-pillar, as you'd expect. They did the same thing with the A as they did with the C. You've got a window here in the back for improved visibility, which is actually pretty solid. The rear window here does not look very big from the outside, but from the inside, there's no problem at all with visibility. Plus, rear headrests are completely adjustable. If we go ahead and pop the hood, at least on the one we have, we do not have a backup camera. There's a decent amount of space living back here as well. We got a 60-40 split for the seats and a really deep well, so you can make sure you get all of your stuff in here. So you guys ever traveled to a foreign country and got a taste for something that you're never gonna get back home? Like if you go to Australia, you get a taste for Vegemite, something that you really can't find back here. That's the case with this European-spec Ford Fiesta. There's a lot of stuff in here that we are never going to get in the US. Everything here is all meant for the European market. We got the speedometer in kilometers, things are measured in Celsius. So if I ever do get pulled over and ask me how fast I'm going, I can honestly say I have no idea. Ford usually uses some sort of Ford Sync system in their car, and always done by Sony. We've got a very interesting head unit that I've never seen here before. I'm not going to go into too much detail about it, but it was a very difficult head unit to learn how to use. So hopefully by the time this car does hit the US, this is going to be totally removed. If it's not though, you do have a little LCD screen up front, which is controlled via a series of knobs. So you can control volume here, you control your AM or FM if you want. And then you've got menu buttons that are mapped to the top. You do have Bluetooth in here, so you can get your Bluetooth calling on with full phone book recognition. There is voice activated stuff in here, but it didn't work overly well. No navigation here, so we couldn't test that, but if you want to transfer your contacts over, it worked well enough to at least dial a number, so take that for whatever it's worth. Again though, no idea if this head unit's going to make it to the US market. Alright, so what's the verdict on this Euro-spec Fiesta? Well, it's much more of a party than I expected. It's a very interesting pairing of engine choices and drivetrains and transmissions, but it all worked somehow. I came in with very low expectations, and Ford really exceeded all of those. The 3-cylinder engine on paper would give you a very loud noise. Felt very refined in the Fiesta. So we've yet to see what it's going to translate when it hits the US shores, and if that same dampening is going to be there. But if this is any indicator of what we can expect when this car hits US shores next year, I think we're in for quite the party.